Hello, my name is Kimberly Hilton, and today I'm painting a sunflower for peace. The sunflower is Ukraine's national flower, and it's a symbol of unity and hope. And I've been watching the news lately. My heart goes out to the Ukrainian people. I admire their courage and their strength in the face of all the things that's happening in their country. And I know this is a small thing to do, but I'm just wanting to send love and show the Ukrainian people our support. So if you would like to join me in painting flowers for peace, then I will show you how I painted this beautiful sunflower. And when you get done with it, you can post it on social media. You can hang it in your window as a sign of solidarity, or you can just enjoy a beautiful sunflower. So I painted this on 100% cotton watercolor paper. This is 9 by 12, and it's Arches cold pressed, 140-pound weight, and it's a 9 by 12. So I'm just going to set this to the side for reference for me, and I'll show you. This is really easy to paint, and I'll walk you through step by step what to do. So this is artist tape. It's kind of like masking tape. So if you don't have artist tape, you can just use masking tape. And I'm going to, and you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. If you don't have a watercolor block, you can just tape your watercolor paper down to a board. But I like to do this because it helps keep the paper from buckling if you're not using a watercolor block, but it also gives you that really pretty white border around the painting when you remove the tape. So I think it's nice, and it also helps when you go to photograph your artwork. It's easier to get all of the painting in your photograph if you have that white border, and it just looks neat. So I'm just taping it down and rubbing my finger over it just to make sure it's down. Now I have this on a tabletop easel that's at an angle. I painted the other one almost flat. It wasn't quite flat. I had it supported with tape on the other side when I painted the purple sunflower. It doesn't hurt my neck as bad if I'm holding my paper upright, but the paint does tend to run a little bit more when you do it like this. But you know, that's okay. I can deal with that. Okay, so it's taped down, and now I'm ready to paint, and I'm not going to do any kind of drawing except for a circle in the center. The colors that I'm going to be using are a light yellow and a medium yellow, and then I mixed up a orange with a rose color, or a alizarin crimson, or a quinacridone rose color, and ultramarine blue that made the purple. And then I used burnt umber and burnt sienna, and I mixed the green with ultramarine blue and my yellow. I think I used some raw sienna also. I'll tell you what I'm mixing as I make the colors. This one may end up a little bit different because it's hard to paint the same painting twice sometimes, and nor would I really want to, but I love painting sunflowers. And it's one of my favorite flowers, and it happens to be the symbol for Ukraine, so that's perfect. There are a lot of other people who are starting to wear sunflowers or post sunflowers on social media to show their support for Ukraine, so this will be a nice thing to do. Okay, I'm trying to keep my materials very simple so everyone can follow along. I think most people who have paints have a a yellow. If you don't have a dark yellow, you can just add a little red to it and it will become a little bit darker. So, you know, you can make orange by red and yellow. I'm just going to wet the paints in my palette. I'm just taking some water and wetting these paints. And then I'm going to put them out in these little bowls here. Let me go ahead and put a little water in those too. This is alizarin crimson, and this is Hansa Yellow Light, and this is Hansa Yellow Medium. And I'm going to use 2 round brushes. The last one I only used the one brush. I only used this one. This time I'm going to use a smaller brush for the stems. So this is a size 6 round and this is a size 16. Just use the largest round brush you got, and if you have a smaller one you can use it. If not, you can make do with your large round brush or whatever liner brush or small brush that you have. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is just get this paint mixed up here. It might be a good idea to get my other yellows mixed up, and I think I am going to use some of the raw sienna there. If you don't have raw sienna, you can use yellow ochre. And then this is the Hansa Yellow. It's just slightly darker than the other one. I just want a variation of yellow. Okay, so we're just going to focus on the petals right now, and then we'll worry about the rest of it when that time comes. But for now, I have my brush loaded with the lightest yellow that I have, and I'm just going to take and make a circle. And it doesn't have to be a perfectly round circle. If you need help making a circle, you can put a small dish, some tape, or whatever that's round. Just make a circle. But I'm just going to kind of make my circle just kind of like right here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because the sunflower is not, if you take a picture of a sunflower, it's not going to be perfectly perfect circle. Now I'm going to take my brush. This is just so I know where to take my petals to. But I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to make messy petals. But I'm going to press it down and drag it, and then when I get toward the end, I lift it up a little bit, and that's a petal. And then I might just push it down and then drag it up. And it doesn't have to be, all of them doesn't have to be the same. You could almost think of this as like you're painting the sun, and you can have some of the petals go a little, you know, a little curved, however you want. So it doesn't dry too quickly. I want to just put in some variation in the wet yellow paint there, and that is the raw sienna that I'm putting in. And I don't need to put it in the same spot on all of them, but I just want the flower to have a variation of yellows, and you can do that. And then you can come down and with that same color make some more. And if it's okay to leave white spaces in your painting, because that will just give you some highlights. So this is the raw sienna, or you could be using yellow ochre or a Hansa Yellow Medium. We can go back into our light yellow if we want to, and we're just pressing and dragging. And you know, if you want, you can make curves or you can make them straight. This is your sunflower. Make it however you want it to look. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can make one for practice, and then you can go back in and you can make another one once you kind of get the feel of what you're doing. I've made several of these, and every time I make one, I feel like I get a little bit better. It looks like a big yellow sun right now. Now if you want to take a little bit of the burnt sienna, and I'm just going to put the burnt sienna in there with the raw sienna, and I'm just going to let some, you know, just dot it here and just kind of let it go down a little bit, and maybe put some here. This is watercolor, so the paint is going to be lighter when it dries. I'm just kind of trying to define the petals and maybe give some lines here and there. And then I can rinse off my brush, dab it on a paper towel, and then pick up some of my light yellow and go back over it if I want to, and just kind of smooth it out if I feel like I need to. And if you want to, if you feel like you need to leave some lighter areas that maybe you got too much yellow on there and you want to leave some lighter yellows, just take your brush, rinse it out, and then dab it off on a piece of paper towel, and then just take it and you can set it on there, and you can lift a little bit of the paint out if you want to. Kind of give it a little more lightness to it if you need to, where the sun might be hitting the petals, make them look a little more translucent. This is I think I'm getting close to being done. You can define your petals as much as you want, but this is gonna be just a loose painting. We don't need to overwork it. Now what I'm gonna do is take this same brush and I'm gonna dab it off, and I'm gonna get some of this burnt umber, and I'm gonna put it here in this dish. I didn't even make an orange, and I was going to. Let me see. I guess I could. So I'm taking that rose color there, and I'm just gonna add yellow to it until I get an orange. I'm rinsing my brush before I dip it back into the yellow, because I don't want my yellow to become orange. But see, you can mix a nice orange, and if you want to, you can add some orange on your sunflower. Just to help define the petals a little bit more. It's up to you what kind of sunflower you want to paint. Where the paint had dried a little bit, it's not blending as much as I would like it to do, so I'm just going to wet a brush and go over it and just blend it out. Blend it into the other paint. And you don't have to put a lot of orange in there. You don't even have to put any orange in there. I had put orange in the other one, so I thought, well, I'll just put some orange in that. Okay, so I did that. Now let me go back to what I was doing. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and mix up a purple. I'm pulling out the ultramarine blue, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that rose color till I get a purple. If you have a purple, you don't have to do this part. You can just use your purple. But I just want to show you how to mix purple. So you can use ultramarine blue and any cool red to make a purple. That would be alizarin crimson or a rose color. So I'm just going to add that purple into this brown here, into the I think that's burnt umber. I can't really remember. If it's not, it's going to be now. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more. You see this brown color with the purple tint to it. So purple's the complement to yellow, so purple and yellow look really good together. So this is not completely dry, but it's kind of dry. And I'm just going to dab onto the sunflower, that color, and I'm not using this brush. This is a number 8 round, but I meant to use this brush. This brush is natural hair, so it kind of, when you just take it and make dots on it, it kind of makes separated dots. You see that? So I like the natural hair because it does that for this technique here. This is called Pointillism, kind of, where you're just making little points and of color. And if your paint is still wet, it will spread out more. So just keep it in the center, and just define your sunflower with this color, and you can start adding some variations too. But I'm overlapping that yellow a little bit. And in the places where the paint is still wet, it spreads out a little bit more. And get some more of that brownish purple color and just keep on going over it. We don't want to cover the whole thing. We want it to have some variation in it. So I'm going to start adding some other colors soon. But I just wanted to define my center there. And now, if you want, you can get some of the burnt sienna and just start dabbing on some of that color into some of the white areas. And it's okay if it touches the other color, because that's just going to give it more interesting shades of colors. If you look at a sunflower closely, you'll see that it has greens and browns as the little petals start to bud out. Now I'm going to start adding some green to our mix. And what I'm going to do is take this Hansa Yellow Medium. I'm just going to go ahead and take some ultramarine. I could use sap green, and that would be probably the easiest. But I'm just going to use the ultramarine blue. And because some people might not have sap green. And this is in a medium yellow. And you see this kind of like a yellow-green color that I just mixed up. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to dot. Maybe I want to dab some of that off because that's too much. And I'm just going to make little dots there in the center. I don't need to cover the whole thing, and you can go as far out as you want. And it's okay if it blends in with the other colors. And see, I'm going to take and I'm going to make a darker color. I'm going to use the ultramarine, and I'm going to make it darker. You see that? It's almost like a let's see, even darker. Let's make it even darker. And then you can go and just dot it on where you want shadow to be. there'll be more sun hitting the top of the sunflower. So if you don't want to do a whole lot up there, then you don't have to. But it's nice to put some dark colors in here, because the darks is what makes the light colors really stand out. So just do it until you feel you're happy with how it looks. If you wait for it to dry, if you want to come back and do more once it dries, they won't spread into each other as much, and you'll be able to get more defined dots. But I think it's important to leave a little bit of white there in the paper. And maybe I'll put a little bit of this burnt sienna near the green. I don't want to cover all the green, just put a little here and there. And it actually wouldn't hurt to put a little yellow, because if you look real close, the sunflower has some, you know, when the flowers start to bloom, there's like little yellow flowers. So I'm just gonna give that a little while to kind of, maybe I'll put a little yellow. Like, I have a hard time sometimes deciding when enough is enough. Okay, so we're just gonna let that area rest now, and I'm gonna go on to, we're gonna start with the stem and the leaves now. And I'm taking this small round brush, and let's figure out where we want our big stem to be. Or I'm gonna do the other one I did straight down the center, but this one I'm gonna kind of put it right here. So I'm just gonna wet that, and I curved that one just a little bit. Now I'm picking up some of that light green, and I'm going to put that in. And where the yellow around here has had some time to dry, so it's not getting into my yellow. And now I'm going to take and make a little stem like that, and maybe another little stem like that. And then the leaves on a sunflower is kind of heart-shaped. So, and these are going to go off the page, so you're not going to see all of it, but I'm just going to take and draw kind of like a shape of a heart. That's overlapping the tape, so that's not even going to show. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Just paint it in a little bit. I kind of exaggerated the heart shape of the sunflower because my heart goes out to the people because of what's going on. I just think that's a little nice touch. Now that I have these covered, these leaves, I'm going to take some of the ultramarine blue, and I'm going to deepen the green here. You see how I'm just adding ultramarine blue, and it's making a darker green. And you can put it in, decide where you want the shadow to be, and I'm going to put it on this side, on the right side. So I'm just going to take a line and just go down the side of where that green was. And where the paint's still wet, it kind of blends out, and it gives a little definition. And I'm leaving the center where it's green, and then I'm going to follow this stem here and kind of do that, and then here. And then I want to add some of that green, so I'm just going to follow that circle there. And I'm going to leave some of the lighter green showing through, and I'll show you why, because that's going to be where I'm going to negatively paint the shapes of the stems, or try to. So almost like you're painting zebra stripes, okay? Take your brush and go over that green, kind of like that. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but I'm just trying to give the leaf a sense of those little veins in the flower. Now if you want to take a clean brush, wet it and clean it, and then you can just drag it over that paint. This is called a thirsty brush. So you rinse it with water, and then you just dab it out on a paper towel. Then you go in, you kind of lift off the paint where you want it to lift off. So I'm just defining my lighter green spaces a little bit better before it dries completely. Rinse, then dab off. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm actually gonna speed up what I'm doing a little bit and make it kind of more less controlled and look more loose, kind of. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here on this one. The stem on a sunflower is a little bit lighter than the leaf, so the veins are. And then if you need to come back in and go over your other stem, if it's starting to dry too light, you can come back in and you can add in some more lines to kind of define it. But don't cover up all of that light area, because I think that's nice. Well, I mean, you can do what you want. It's your sunflower, but okay. This is starting to dry up here. It's not popping out off the page like this one is, because I haven't added the purple background to it yet. I want these leaves to dry just a little bit more before I add that background. And I want this area here to dry a little bit more, and then I'll add some more darks there, and that's gonna pop this out a little bit more. I'm gonna just go ahead and speed up the process by adding a hair dryer. Sometimes I'll just walk away and let it dry naturally, but I'm just going to go ahead and just use the hair dryer. Okay, that's mostly dry. I think it's fine now. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to mix up a purpley color. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this this one that I was using for the center. While I'm at it, I could just go ahead and put some more darks in here before I use up all this paint. Just dabbing on some extra little dots. Now I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm going to mix up, I'm going to mix more of that purple color into the brown, burnt umber. So I need more burnt umber. And I want this one to lean more purple, so I'm going to have to add some more ultramarine blue. And now I'm going to add more of the rose color. And I'm just going to keep on adding until I get the shade that I'm looking for. Okay, so I can tell I need more ultramarine blue. Okay, so that's starting to be a purple, lean purple. I'm going to add some water to this and make it a thinner consistency, like maybe like the consistency of milk. I think milk or tea. I'd like to see if I have, okay, so this will be a good color here. I'm gonna go, I want this color to be at the bottom of the page, so I'm gonna start about half. Well, I'm gonna start down here and I'm gonna work my way up, and then I'll add more blue as I get up higher. So let's just take and work around the leaves. We're just painting the background. If you go over a little bit, that it's not going to matter. It will just make it look a little like a shadow. If it's too thick, which mine might be, I might want to add a little more water. See, even though this brush is a larger round brush, it comes to a nice point, so you can work in just small areas with it. I'm gonna add some more water to my mix because I think it's just a little too thick. And I'm going to use whatever brush you feel the most comfortable with as far as control. You can try to go up around your sunflower leaves there. Try not to touch the yellow if you can help it, but if you do, it's just gonna kind of give it a shadowy look. You can always go in and you can leave a little white there if you want to, and you can always go in later after it dries with a lightly damp brush and kind of blend it out a little bit if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and work on this side a little bit. before it dries on me. And now I'm gonna go over here so this side doesn't draw on me. Sometimes you want to work fast and you know, so your paint doesn't dry, and sometimes you want to stop and give it a break so your paint can dry. If you like your sunflower without the background and you think it's going to be too challenging to do the background, then just do the sunflower. That's fine. You don't have to do the background. If you want to do the background and you end up not liking it, because I've done that before, just start over. Turn your paper around and start over on the back. I paint on the back of paintings all the time. I actually painted this sunflower on the back of the other painting that I didn't finish, so you know, you can use the same paper more than once. I'm getting close to where I'm going to start adding more blue to my mix. And it's okay if there's like variation of the color. We kind of want it to have variation. Now I'm gonna add more ultramarine blue to this, so it'll be a little more blue as I move up. I'm looking for a piece of paper to test it on. More blue. Maybe we'll start with that and then add more as we go. And I'm using this color to help shape my my leaves, or not leaves, but petals of the sunflower. If it starts getting like, you see that pool of paint there, especially where I have this board on this angle, just go back in, rinse off your brush and go back in and pull some of that paint out. That looks too triangular to me, so I'm gonna try to fix that a little bit. I don't want all these petals to look the same. And let's see. I'm gonna switch to the other side and kind of blend into it before it dries too much. I think it's a good time to add a little more blue. A little bit more. So this is like a blue purple now. Having that point on the brush kind of helps you define those flowers better. Kind of to chisel, to go in there and chisel them out a little bit better. And And purple is a complementary color to yellow, so it's not likely to turn green if you touch some of your yellow, so you don't have to worry as much. It will just look like a little gray shadow. And we're getting close to being done. You don't have to be as careful. See, I touched a little bit of the yellow and it doesn't look green, so we're good. This is about all I'm going to do today because I think I did a great job. And I'm going to use size 0 to sign my name. And this is a little bit tricky because I didn't really leave myself a place to sign my name. I'm going to maybe take this purple color and try to put it in a discreet place. I'm just going to initial it down here. I'm going to put K, H, and a line and the date. '22. Alright guys, let's take off the tape and see how it looks. If you guys paint this and you would like to post a picture of it, I'll leave my Facebook page or Instagram page at the in the description, and you can tag me in your painting or post it to my page so I can see what you did, and we can hopefully just paint for peace. And thank you for watching, and thank you for painting along, and I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you have a great day. Happy painting.